Somewhere in the North Pacific, right now, something is calling out. It has been calling out since 1989. That's 36 years of sending a signal into the dark. And in 36 years, not a single living thing has ever called back. This isn't a ghost story. This is a whale. And the heartbreaking part, the part that will sit with you after this video ends, is that the whale almost certainly doesn't know it's alone. It just keeps calling. Every year, the same route, the same frequency, the same song disappearing into 3 million square miles of ocean. You've probably felt something like this before. Not in the ocean, but maybe in a room full of people. Saying something you meant and watching it land flat. Reaching for someone and finding air. That feeling has a name out there in the Pacific. Scientists call it 52 Blue. Here's what you'd assume about a whale. It's enormous, it's ancient, it's one of the most powerful animals on the planet. Blue whales are the largest creatures that have ever existed on Earth, bigger than any dinosaur. Their hearts are the size of a small car. Their calls can travel thousands of miles through water. They are, by almost any measure, built to be heard, and yet 52 blue calls at 52 hertz. That's the important number. Every other blue whale on Earth communicates somewhere between 10 and 39 hertz. Deep, resonant, subsonic pulses that rumble through the ocean like the voice of the planet itself. 52 hertz is higher. Not dramatically higher, not squeaky, just wrong enough. Just far enough outside the range that other whales don't register it as a call from one of their own. It's like showing up to a party where everyone is speaking the same language, and you're speaking the same language too. Just one octave off. Just enough that everyone keeps turning away. The story starts with a Cold War hydrophone array. In the 1980s, the U.S. Navy had a network of underwater microphones scattered across the Pacific Ocean floor. They were designed to track Soviet submarines. But after the Cold War wound down, the Navy quietly shared access to the recordings with marine biologists. And in 1989, a researcher named William Watkins at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution started hearing something strange. There was a whale out there singing at 52 hertz, which shouldn't exist. Watkins spent years listening to those recordings. He tracked the signal across the Pacific, following a single animal as it migrated season after season, year after year. The movement was consistent with a blue whale or possibly a fin whale, maybe some rare hybrid. But the frequency was unlike anything documented in the scientific record. Watkins published his findings in 2004, the year before he died. The paper was dry, careful, academic. It said almost nothing about loneliness. It mostly focused on the frequency anomaly and the migration patterns. But the internet read between the lines. By 2010, 52 Blue had become something else entirely. Not just a data point, but a symbol. Journalists were calling it the world's loneliest whale. Documentary pitches followed. A song, a children's book. A wave of human feeling projected onto an animal that has no idea any of this is happening. And here's the thing. Scientists pushed back, gently. Bill Watkins' colleagues pointed out that we don't actually know the whale is lonely. We don't know it's suffering. We don't know it can't find others. It's possible it lives a full, rich whale life and simply broadcasts at a frequency we hadn't encountered before. It's possible there are others like it we haven't found yet. But the story had already escaped the paper, because something in it was true, even if not literally. Something about it was already ours. 52 Blue isn't the only creature living in a kind of communicative exile. There's a bird in New Zealand called the kakapo. It's a flightless parrot, nocturnal, and it's one of the rarest animals on Earth, down to around 250 individuals as of the last count. The kakapo has a mating call, a deep booming sound the males make from little dirt bowls they carve into the hillside. The sound carries for miles. But when there are so few of you left, and when you're scattered across 3 tiny island sanctuaries, the signal goes out and there's often nothing to receive it. The kakapo has been essentially calling into a void since humans arrived in New Zealand and hunted most of its kind to near extinction. It didn't change its call. It didn't adapt. It just kept booming into the dark. And then there's the plant world, which sounds odd, but stay with me. There's a tree in the Sahara called Tenere, or there was. It was the last tree for over 250 miles in any direction, literally the most isolated tree on Earth. It was so alone that it was marked on maps. Tuareg travelers used it as a landmark for centuries. In 1973, a drunk truck driver crashed into it and knocked it over. The most isolated tree in the world, surviving every drought and sandstorm for hundreds of years, taken out by a Libyan trucker who probably felt terrible about it afterward. The stump is still there. The Nigerian government made a metal sculpture to mark where it stood. Isolation at that scale does something strange. It stops being just a fact about one creature and starts feeling like a statement about the universe. Here's where it gets genuinely strange. Researchers who study loneliness, not in whales, but in humans, have found that the pain of social exclusion activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. Literally, the same regions of the brain light up when you feel left out as when you stub your toe. Your body treats rejection as damage, which makes evolutionary sense, for most of human history, being cast out from the group meant death. Loneliness wasn't just unpleasant. It was a warning signal. Get back in. Find the others. But here's the cruel irony. The more lonely a person feels, the harder it becomes to connect. Chronic loneliness makes you hypervigilant to social threat. You start reading neutral faces as hostile. You start expecting rejection, and so you pull back slightly, and the pulling back creates the rejection, and the cycle feeds itself. Loneliness is one of the few human experiences that actively generates more of itself. And it's widespread in a way we don't like to admit. A 2023 report from the U.S. Surgeon General described loneliness as an epidemic, with health consequences comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Half of American adults reported measurable levels of loneliness in surveys taken before the pandemic. After the pandemic, the numbers climbed. We are surrounded by more ways to communicate than any humans in history. Phones, messages, feeds, group chats, comment sections, and somehow the signal keeps going out at 52 hertz. Keeps going out and not landing. Think about the last time you really tried to tell someone something that mattered to you. Not a complaint, not logistics. Something you actually meant. A feeling, a fear, a strange thought that had been sitting in you for a while. Maybe you said it, and the conversation moved on immediately, like water closing over a stone. Maybe you didn't say it at all because you already knew how it would land. Maybe you said it to the wrong person at the wrong time and watched it dissolve. 52 Blue has been doing that since 1989. There's a version of this story where the whale is fine, where it eats krill, migrates its thousands of miles, surfaces to breathe in the cold Pacific air, and the frequency is just a number we attached our feelings to. There's a version where the whale is perfectly complete, but there's another version. And the other version is why this story spread so far, so fast, when Watkins' paper came out, because every person who read it recognized something. Not the ocean, not the whale, the 52 hertz, the signal that goes out right and lands wrong. The thing you said that no one quite caught. The scientist in you might resist that, might say, you're projecting onto an animal. You're making meaning where there is only biology. And maybe, but the meaning found you, didn't it? You didn't have to look for it.
52 Blue is still out there.
The Navy hydrophone array that first caught its call has been partially decommissioned. Tracking it is harder now. We pick it up occasionally. Researchers with better instruments, newer methods. The frequency has shifted slightly over the decades, which actually suggests the animal is aging normally, the way whale calls deepen over time. Which means it's alive, which means it's still calling. There's something in that I keep coming back to, not the loneliness, or not only that, the persistence. 36 years of sending a signal with no evidence of return, not changing the frequency, not going quiet, just here I am, here I am, here I am. I don't know what to do with that exactly. Maybe it's a tragedy. Maybe it's just a whale. Maybe those two things are the same. Or maybe, and I think this is the part that's hardest to sit with, maybe the signal mattering doesn't actually require someone to receive it. Maybe the call is the thing, not the answer. 52 Blue doesn't know about the documentary pitches and the children's book and the people who cried reading a 10-page oceanography paper at 2 a.m. It doesn't know that millions of people felt for a moment a little less alone because of it. But they did. The signal got through, just not the way anyone expected.